Hola, muy buenas a todos. Antes de dejarlos con la información de Hong Kong, me gustaría hacer un repaso general. En los países de libre comercio se respeta la libertad individual y la capacidad de crecer es meritocrática. En los países comunistas, la necesidad de regular leyes para lograr el ideal de igualdad solo trajo más restricción a la libertad, al punto de que algún día salir al parque a tomar aire fresco sea algo ilícito. Para que comprendan el siguiente video, sabiendo que mañana es 9 de julio, nuestra independencia, es necesario saber que el comunismo está atacando a los países democráticos de todas las maneras posibles, camufladas de acciones con buena intención que en realidad buscan el beneficio para unos pocos. Para todos aquellos que están planeando su futuro, quiero decirles que pronto será una simple ilusión si no prestamos atención al arrebatamiento de poder que está sucediendo frente a nuestras narices. Es necesario que hagamos correr la voz y que no tengamos miedo de lo que puedan opinar los demás. La democracia y la libertad es la base de nuestras vidas, por eso hay que defenderla. Solo la libertad nos permite la diversidad, nos permite elegir, nos permite creer y nos permitirá la prosperidad. Recuperemos nuestros ideales de justicia, pero de causas justas y lo más importante por sobre todas las cosas.
If you've been following Hong Kong's news, by now you should be aware of the national security law that has just been passed in Beijing by the Chinese Communist Party. This is the Big Brother law in essence. Once it's implemented, the government will be able to imprison any dissidents in Hong Kong, in the name of treason and subversion. It doesn't matter if you're Hong Kongers or not, people could literally get thrown into jail for simply posting a pro-democracy tweet. Many have speculated that this is China's way to test the water. If Western democracies do not react strongly to the authoritarian overreach, they could easily see this as a green light for their planned invasion of Taiwan, after their failed attempt to infiltrate Taiwan's election and undermine their sovereignty earlier this year. But is this all bad for Hong Kongers? Yes, but at the same time, not really. While human rights are being severely violated, many have come to senses that the one country, two systems has been nothing more than a facade. It is merely a tool for Beijing to take over Hong Kong. Things like democracy and autonomy simply could not exist under China's ruling, even though it is promised by them and written in the Hong Kong Basic Law, a constitutional document that can be redefined by China at any given moment. The dream of having autonomy without sovereignty under a dictatorship has been a cruel joke. The Orwellian dystopia in 1984 is slowly becoming Hong Kong's reality, but at least we know where should we be heading now. To understand Hong Kong's dilemma, we have to talk about the history a little. Hong Kong had been a British colony from 1841 to 1997, long before the People Republic of China, aka the China as we know of, existed. While colonization is basically a bad word as of today, it made Hong Kong, Hong Kong. The British, along with many Hong Kong businessmen, had modernized this place. And because of the fact that Hong Kong was not under China's ruling, the cultural side of things also got to flourish. Hong Kongers didn't have to face events like the Cultural Revolution, where millions died because of Chairman Mao's dictatorship. And of course, the infamous Tiananmen Massacre, where thousands had been slaughtered for demanding freedom and democracy. Needless to say, Hong Kong had gone its separate way with its very own culture and language. It was essentially a free nation, only without democracy and sovereignty. But if Hong Kongers didn't have a democratic system back then, why are they demanding it now? The very obvious reason being a former ruler, the UK, actually respects human rights and the idea of the rule of law. So it wasn't much of a problem for Hong Kongers back then to live without democracy. Where with China, they basically see international treaties as a bluff, something they don't need to oblige, and the law as a tool of repression. As I've mentioned earlier, universal suffrage was promised to Hong Kongers under the one country, two systems framework. But China never meant to fulfill it, as it would turn Hong Kong into a quasi-sovereign state, where the elected Hong Kong government could act on its own. And of course, China couldn't allow that to happen because they want full control. So for Hong Kongers, the advocacy of Hong Kong independence appears to be the only sensible option now. But how are we going to achieve that? Well, Hong Kong can go independent through self-determination, a right that is granted by the international law. Matter of fact, Hong Kongers were robbed of their right to self-determination many years ago, after China replaced Taiwan as the China in the United Nations and voted to remove Hong Kong from the list of non-self-governing territories without any proper discussions within the United Nations, as any territories on that list would get to decide their own future. And back when China and the UK were discussing Hong Kong's future in the 1980s, it was done without the participation nor the permission from the people of Hong Kong. There were surveys conducted about Hong Kong's future back then, and over 80% of the Hong Kong people had expressed their wish for Hong Kong to remain as is, against China's plan for the takeover. The right to self-determination is owed to the people of Hong Kong, and we must do everything we can to fight for it and turn Hong Kong into a free nation again.